And good morning. Welcome to Julie Hall Designs and Locked in Stitches. How are you doing on this, the last day of spring here in the southern hemisphere? And I'm not even sure where Christmas starts. Sorry, when winter starts for the northern hemisphere, like the Americas and things like that, because I know they don't go specifically sort of by date like we do.
No, they go, I think it's 3 weeks later.
Okay. So no, last day of spring. Thank you very much. I am so ready for it to be over. How are we all doing this morning, ladies? I'm doing pretty well. I've had a good week. It's hard to remember throughout the full week, isn't it? But I went and got my new car that I was looking at while we were live last week. I had a lovely celebration at the end of the week with friends come over, and we did our version of Thanksgiving.
Oh, good.
So just taking the time to be thankful. Like, we all ran around and said something that we were thankful for the year. I wasn't sitting next to Edward, so I didn't get the chance to, kick him and remind him of his list on what he's thankful for. But no, it was absolutely lovely. And I can see we've got Michelle Reynolds with us. Good morning, Michelle. I've got Naomi White, Kathleen Glenda O'Durkin, and I'm sorry if I've mispronounced your name, Kathy. Dashanka. If anybody knows about me mispronouncing names, it's Dashanka. No matter how many times she tells me how, I've obviously got a mental issue with trying to pronounce her name. But good morning. Okay, so fundamentally, 25 days till Christmas.
Oh, no.
25 days till my daughter's birthdays. I do, of course, have the lovely Louise with me again this morning. Thank you for joining me. And Lorraine Schreiss, good morning. But this morning we are going to have a play with some bunting. And we're going to, let me just turn it on. I'm going to show you how I go through and pop in the lights into the bunting for that extra special Christmas look. I know, Michelle, it is very exciting. Michelle and I have been planning for probably 6 months or so now to go and see Billy Joel.
Are you lucky ducks?
So he's live in Melbourne next weekend, not this coming weekend. So we are road tripping.
Oh, in your new car?
In the new car. We're figuring it's a good chance to sort of drive it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me come through and switch. Where am I? I need to switch where I am. I'm still a little bit muffled, or brain dead's the way I'm saying it, just over how, like, I've still got just that little bit of a cold left, but loving and been having so much fun on the new machine, and I've got some pretty things to show you guys, but we will start with, and the bunting outline is available in the Locked in Stitches group, for you to go and download. And then all I've done is, using my software, I've come in and I've either inserted the sorry, I'm just seeing a message there pop up from my son. I've either inserted the applique design, or I've put in a quilting design. And I've just used my metallic thread, and then I've come through and added just in extra lights, just to oomph it up and make it
Yeah, it's
sort
great.
of that little bit bigger, which is exactly what I've done here. So I'm going to pass those to Michelle now. I'm sorry, Louise.
It's okay.
Just pop them on there for me.
I know. I'm going to check it out.
What I've got is just a scrap of grey fabric, and I've got my red fabric, and I've used the same red fabric all the way through for their hats. I've also got in my hoop my stabilizer, embroiderer's felt, and a piece of bright coloured fabric. So I'm really trying to go through and use up some of my scraps of bright coloured fabric and keep it all very positive. So pop my hoop on, and I've got my design loaded. Now I'm just coming to see what the first sort of stitchy thing I'm doing is, just so that I can really lazily load up my threads. Because one of the things that I do like about the way that, and you know, it sounds really arrogant when you say, you know, one of the things that I love about the way that I do mine is that this is kind of lazy girl applique. The first 1 or 2 applique design sets that I created, I did it very traditionally. And by traditionally, I mean I was putting down one piece, doing the satin stitch around it, then putting down the next piece. Well, that is such a waste of time. And when you consider that some of my appliques have, certainly not these, this one has how many colour changes? This has 13 colours in it, but there's only about 5. But like some of the houses have a lot more than that. And what this does is just stops you having to continually change colours. And I can see we've got Trish Callan there. Good morning. And congratulations on your granddaughter reaching another milestone I saw yesterday. So this is the outline of our bunting. Nice and simple. And you'll see I haven't made it a very vertical, really deep triangle, because I want to be able to get a design in there.
Yeah.
So it's this stitch and then the stitch that I'm using at the end to put the backing fabric on that I've given you in locked in stitches. So you can use that for whatever you want. You could put someone's name on it. You could, you know, do whatever you wanted. It's just that I've come through and now I've popped in my animal design.
You could even put your family name on here and then everybody that's in the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Well, one piece for each family member.
Yeah.
And then you can add to it as they give you more grandkids.
Yeah.
Okay. So I bring in my koala and I lay him over. And the only mistakes that I ever end up making with applique are through not being too stingy.
Yeah. I've been guilty of that and had to unpick it.
You're better than me. I just put another piece on top of it.
Oh, I never thought of doing that. I'll do that next time. Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
There's an episode of Frasier, and it's got Nathan Lane as somebody who's ripping Frasier off. And Frasier, you know, tries to get his comeuppance as he always does. And Nathan Lane's there at the end, you know, because I'm lazy. Give me an L, give me an A, give me a Z. And I often think of that when I'm thinking about, you know, how I go about trying to find ways of doing things that are, you know, a little less effort. I want the look, I want the quality, And I'd like to do it, which is probably why I liked machine embroidering. I mean, my mother was a perfectionist. I can remember Mum teaching us to sew, and she made us measure where we put the pins.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. I still remember that one. I don't know whether Leanne does. I must ask her. It was so sweet. My father called me last night. Was it you who I was talking to about this? Don't think so, but we can talk about it. And it's whether we're going out for dinner for Mum's birthday.
Oh, isn't that gorgeous? We're going to do a dinner for Mum's, my sister's decided, for Mum's 100th birthday.
Oh, what a lovely idea.
Yeah. She said, I think we should do that.
So, Kerry Bennett, if you're watching, I've got to call you about dinner. And as you know, the colour guides are all included with these guys. Now, just a little bit closer now. And this is normally where my stinginess hits, when I'm trying to use up something from a curve or something like that. Kids and I are a little bit excited tonight. It's really, really sad. But I put so much more effort into menu planning and things when Edward's around, and next to none when he's not.
Oh, I remember doing that when my husband was away.
So he has to go down to Melbourne tonight. So the whole family are having a very lazy, probably takeaway based dinner.
Well, there wasn't a lot of takeaways when our kids were little. So we used to just have spaghetti with peas and corn and grated cheese.
Yeah, I can imagine that as well.
Yeah, that was the kids' favourite.
If he was going away for 2 days, it might be a little bit more like I'd do something like that.
Oh yeah, we'd get chicken nuggets then. Because the tuck shop used to sell boxes of chicken nuggets.
Yep. Okay, Lorraine, I'm hoping that's looking better for you, my darling.
This koala's gorgeous with the little stars in the ears.
Yes.
He's lovely.
And look, when it's something that's this small, and realistically the size of the design, I think it's about 12 centimetres.
Yeah.
It's all about those little details without too much extra in it.
So how do you punch the holes?
Special trick that I'll show you. But you go to the shed and fundamentally you grab your husband's hole punch.
Oh, so you can just use the old-fashioned hole punch as well.
I don't know whether the old-fashioned paper one is going to go through all of the layers of fabric.
Oh, because I don't have any of those fancy things.
So it's either a quick trip to Bunnings, and look, it's a $3-5 tool, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or it's come and borrow the neighbours.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I say like I use this is just because it's a very clean way of doing it.
Okay.
Oh, look, you never know when you're going to need to punch something, so it is always good to have.
Yeah.
I do like that, Michelle. You're really coming down to play on the new machine. I can appreciate that.
Oh, yes.
All good. I'll put the sofa bed in the sewing room.
You can always come and sleep at my house on a real bed.
Okay. So next up is going to be the darker features around the feet. And look, I love applique. I love it because it really does use up so many of those scraps. And I don't know about you, but I've got scraps now going back sort of 17 years.
You don't have any tissues, do you?
No, I can go and grab you one. Excuse me for 2 seconds, people. Oh, look at that. I know, the weather is just a killer at the moment, isn't it? You do not know whether you are up or up.
Yep.
And the only downside about having a really good stash of scraps is that whole thing of when it's small enough to throw out.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it's why I'm liking this bunting.
Yeah, because you use them.
It is a perfect thing to be using up. Oh, Lorraine's got an old-fashioned hole punch with a rotary wheel.
An old-fashioned? An old-fashioned what?
Old-fashioned hole punch with a rotary wheel for different sizes.
Oh my goodness. She should send us a picture of it.
And look, I have a feeling, Lorraine, that this is one of those things that I stole out of Edward's stash. And it's one of the reasons that we started the whole sewing tools thing. Because, like, you know, he had a real issue with me not handing things back. He's that person who's got the boxes from his childhood Lego. Now, I know that means we all want to beat the shit out of him. Like, you know, totally get it, because most days, you know, that part of him. And we do not do well sharing a workspace.
Oh, no, I wouldn't share a workspace with Carl.
In one house, we had a lounge room and a living room, and they were both very separate, but not enough space for an individual office for each. So we took the lounge room and turned it into a dual workspace. Oh, both of us hated it.
So is he super tidy? Or is he just like everything his way?
He won't throw away paperwork, but his tools are all in a line.
Oh, okay. So he's like my sisters and I'm like you.
Okay. Oh, an eyelet punch. Okay.
An eyelet.
Eyelet punch, Michelle's thinking, is the actual name. And what it did come with was different size heads. Now, I've lost them over time because I'm me.
Yeah. So, Michelle, the old-fashioned eyelet punches that we used to use to do those little studs with, we could just use one of those.
Absolutely.
Okay. I still have one of those in the cupboard for old time's sake.
So, Bunnings have a 5-piece set, so all the different sizes here, for $12.50. And the good news is they are in store at Bunnings in Belconnen, in aisle 9, bay 14. I can never find them when they go that specific on you. But there you go, they're called a hollow punch set.
Oh, look, I have to tell you this. I met this girl at the front of Bunnings and I asked her, where do you have washing trolleys?
Oh, yeah.
And I said to her, she said to me, what is a washing trolley? I said to her, do you live in a flat? And she said, yes. I said, well, when you live in a house and you go out to take your washing out to the clothesline, you put your washing basket in a trolley and you wheel it out to your clothesline. Oh, she said, I don't understand. I said to her, well, I'll go and find it and then I'll bring it to you and show you.
I can remember I didn't have one of those until we moved into our last house in Melbourne. And I felt a real sense of being a grown-up when I got my first
Washing trolley.
trolley.
Well, I bought one of these washing trolleys and it was just that flimsy that Carl put it together and it broke.
I've got 2 in my backyard, take one. Ed's sister gave us another one for Grace to walk around the streets collecting bottles, but she bought herself something different.
Oh, well, I don't have one now because Carl, when he put it together, he broke it.
Yeah, no. I'll get the girls to walk one up this week.
Okay. So I still have Mum's old one that I just sit by the clothesline. It was actually the same thing, but Mum's was made of steel and this one was made of aluminium and it just collapsed.
Now, one of the things to look at when you are doing applique is how close you are cutting the fabric. And it's a real, it's a very interesting one because a lot of it does depend on how much stitching is going into it. This is quite a small stitching, so I can be very close to the end. But what you will notice, and I mean, I have cut close, absolutely, that's just what I do. If there was much more stitching in here, leaving an extra millimetre wouldn't have hurt, because of course all of this stitching here sucks in the fabric.
Yep.
So if you ever see applique that where the stitching is there and the fabric's poking through on this side, generally speaking, that will be what has happened. So how's everybody's Christmas list doing? Have we finished our shopping yet?
I've done some of mine. And I've even bought presents for January.
Wow.
Whoa, it was half price at Myers.
Oh, it was.
And I thought, well, I might as well buy it while I was here. And then I had points that I could use. So I bought it on my points, so it didn't cost me anything.
Fantastic.
I thought that was pretty good.
I didn't hit any sales. I'm very disappointed in the Millers group, which from my understanding includes Autograph, BB, Millers, and now Rivers as well. The sheer number of, because I bought online from them, the sheer number of blast messages over the weekend was just disappointing, and quite honestly, having your phone next to you and constantly you've got a notification, and I'm not saying there was 6, I'm saying there was easily 10 a day.
Oh wow, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
I was really frustrated with that one. Okay, Trish Callum's got 3 done. 3 presents done. Pauline Stewart's watching. Thank you for joining us.
We have a very nice new games shop at the O'Connor Mall. Did you know that?
No.
And they had a really good variety of games.
Okay.
So I could buy the grandchildren a $20 game each there.
Perfect.
And I thought I'd rather walk in and talk with somebody, and and then I took a photo of each game and sent it to the parent.
Yep.
And said, this is what I bought. Do you have it? No, we don't have it.
Great.
Don't buy it. And so that I thought that was a good way of doing it.
Well, all I'm ending up doing is Santa stack stuff. Like, they're getting cash. Boyo just texted me that he wants a dash cam because someone nearly wiped him out this morning, and he's worried that he'll get blamed because he's a thief later.
Yeah. Yes, he's right there.
I
have to tell you my story after. Actually, that's a really good idea to give all P platers.
Yeah.
Oh, my little Annie, we think she's got a job again as washing dogs.
Oh, fantastic.
And she's maybe also will then go on to get certificates and a job next year.
Oh, that'd be great.
So, yeah, because she's on the autistic spectrum, and that means that she'd be able to work 1 day a week instead of going to school.
Yes.
So that'll be really good for her. The only trouble is it's out in Fishwick, so that's a 3/4 of an hour drive in the morning, especially from Murray Bateman.
Yeah. Well, I had breakfast with a girlfriend, and unfortunately we had to get out our calculators to do the math on how long we'd known each other.
Oh my goodness.
36 years.
Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it?
So it was our joint birthday breakfast.
Oh, good.
Um,
I just think it's really nice that women are doing this now. You hear women with their friendships more than men. You know, you don't hear men doing things like this anymore.
Well, because we were friends in high school.
Oh,
she was one of my bridesmaids. And so she's come down for some meetings, so we're catching up. Such an old woman though. I get to spend the next 5 days texting her every day, telling her how old she is. I think she's so happy when it's my turn, but she's just...
Thank goodness.
She was telling me they're having so much trouble getting staff at the moment.
Everyone's saying that.
But, Em's applied for 4 jobs last week, nothing. They have employed in a mid-level role, like lots of Excel work. So she's defence finance, and they've just employed a school leaver on a $70,000 job.
Wow.
No experience. Because she said there, well, no, hold on, the girl's done. Are they done? Are they, she was ready to employ my daughters sight unseen.
Wow.
So that's a positive thing.
Yeah.
And at least I've got some contacts now for being able to maybe, help the girls get in somewhere, help them, between Edward's contacts. Oh, Lorraine, thank you. I want to go and see what that looks like. A photo of my hole punch is on the page, which you can see. And Judy Warren, aloha from Hawaii. Yes, yeah, the bird. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Michelle Reynolds has got the birch one. Okay, maybe I bought my own after all. Shouldn't feel too guilty about using it then. Huh.
What's this?
Michelle's got a picture of the same one as mine, and it was a birch one.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, maybe I did buy it. I won't feel as guilty now. Not that I felt particularly guilty before.
Oh, you never would. He's looking good.
And I do love it now when Edward comes through and tries to steal my toys.
Yes, but he probably returns them, does he?
Oh, things like if he sees new stock come in, like I'm changing the oil pen bottles, and they came through the other day, and he's decided he might get a couple of those.
Oh, okay. Not just one, a couple.
Yeah. So that's going to be the new oil pen bottle. Just looking to see if I had the old one around, but no.
Oh, it's a long, skinny one.
The long skinny one. And it actually holds the exact same amount. It is still going to be refillable, because that's the important thing.
Yeah.
But feels like it takes up that little bit less room. And of course then the purple tip as well. So that's another one of my Christmas projects. And I know exactly when inspiration's going to hit. I'm going to get a ton of good ideas come...
Christmas Eve.
Well, no, Christmas Eve would be okay. No, come Thursday evening. Because we're going away for a couple of nights. You know, just as you're supposed to spend all that quality couple time together.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as we know, some threads cover a little bit better than others. My white thread, it's a beautiful bright white. I really need to put that... Oops. Back on, first of all. But what I found, depending on the thread that you use, my white, for instance, is quite a fine white, and I'm doing better if you're not happy with the coverage on the top of the hat. Just do a second row. Repeat it.
Oh yes.
But I do love. I'm just trying to get it a little bit closer. I do love the decorative stitching. So that is the new oil one Michelle's saying she couldn't see. And ideally then the purple will stop it from being, from going out to the shed. Now, while that's stitching, what's this? Can I just do anything you like? Thank you. Oops. So, these are what I've been working on this week, and check this out. Totally made in the hoop.
Wow.
So do you just want to zip that back up so that you can show? So it twists and it turns.
That's amazing.
Now I'm just going to repeat that white just to give it a further cover over. It's kind of cute, isn't it?
It is, and you get all your stuff out without...
Well, for me, use this, open up the smaller one and pop in my glasses.
How good's that? That's so good.
So,
Now, this is the test.
oh, yes. Very
I found
good.
a glasses case for me. That's amazing. I haven't found one for you.
Okay.
Are we sewing these in the new year?
We are.
Well, I'll be making one of those. I only have to do like this.
Okay.
That's amazing. Definitely will be making one of those. In the brightest colour I can find in my...
Oh, absolutely. So I think I've got 2 other sizes to test sew with that design. Oops. Probably should have done that. Hold on, guys. I forgot that you can't always see exactly with my eyes.
So you're doing a second row on top?
So I'm doing the second row on top. It's not quite ready for sale yet, Dolores, and welcome, Dolores. Glad to see you again. I just need to test. But I wrote the instructions yesterday.
Well done.
I got something done. Look. So I'm doing. I've just got to test sew the other 2 sizes. Haha, Claire, you know me so well. Absolutely. Claire's another CM17er like me. How are you enjoying yours, Claire? So, this is of course the 17, and it has a 28 by 46 centimetre
Hoop. Amazing.
Now, what I've done with this is all of the designs in the Aussie Christmas Animals, you either have them for with lights or without lights.
Okay.
So because these are a with light set, it's actually creating that hole ready to be punched.
Mm-hmm.
Now eventually I'm going to need that ugly Rudolph fabric.
It's not so bad.
You'd want to use nut for backing though.
Mm.
Now, fray stopper.
A girl's
Whilst
best
we are
friend.
talking, you know, if you don't have fray stopper, water down some PVA.
Yeah.
And I find sort of a 50-50 sort of a mix is a good, like, you know, half PVA, half water. And the best way to apply it for this particular sort of project is to do it with a cotton bud.
Oh, cotton buds are so useful, aren't they?
They really are. Okay, so Dolores, what I'm making is the bunting. So you'll see within the next couple of minutes it all come together. Last colour, well, and there is two colours left, but the last colour is the black.
For his eyes?
Oh, of course, Dolores. We are absolutely going to do a class on the new project. This is me planning ahead for classes for next year. So we've got his little eyes and nose to go. And look, if I was stitching this normally, I sort of sit in front of the machine while I'm laying the fabrics down. And then I like being able to then sort of move to the side and be on the computer, be doing whatever I'm working on next.
Yeah, that'll be useful. We don't want a one-eyed one.
So, backing fabric, I'm using up a Christmas print.
Well, that's a good idea, because if it flutters, you've got Christmas both sides.
Exactly. And all I'm going to do now, so this is my last colourway, all I'm going to do is put that fabric down, make sure it is,
The right way.
well, and make sure it's face down and covering that initial outline. Okay, so now I'm going to come and move over, and Louise and I are just going to swap positions there. Thank you. Okay, you can squeeze around that way if you'd like to.
Okay.
So, turn on my iron. Oops.
You'll be lazy and not get up. I am forced to.
Yes, the chairs themselves aren't overly large chairs for the room, but the feet on them. Okay, so take off just the majority of that stabiliser, and then now, quite honestly, and everybody has different standards, that's the piece that I won't bother keeping.
Oh, okay. Because you don't use orange?
No, because I think it's too small to keep. If I start keeping all of the scrappy bits, like, you know, I'll keep a full piece, but, you know, trying to keep something like that in your scrap bag and everything, it just gets to be too much. And go to the ultimate trouble of clipping. Now, you guys have all done this before. You would know this just as much as I. We come through, stabby stick, said mainly to knock off Michelle.
I do like that orange fabric.
And what I've tried to do, and I'll show you as we sort of lay the bunting out. Okay, so now we can come through and press. And then we're going to trim. Now, generally what I will do is I trim right to a 1/4 inch above this little piece, the stop of stitching.
Okay.
And I do both the main piece and the quilted piece at the same time. When I say quilted piece, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this was my 7th piece of bunting. I'm just trying to lay them out so that you can see all of them. So I've got my Tassie Devil and I've got another yellow piece. I've got my Dingo and I've got the same blue. And then I've got the greens as well. And now I'll have the oranges to add into that so that each animal then has a corresponding extra piece. Mm-hmm. And realistically, for me, that's just about making the bunting look larger at the end.
Yeah.
Now, to do the holes in your piece. Did I have my eyelet? No, I put it over here, don't I? Okay, so I have prepped these, but I'm going to show you exactly how I did it with my little dingo head here. And all I do, you want a really solid surface. This is going to make a noise. And you just, and I don't, sorry, I know I'm jumping around here. I don't do this part until I've attached the bias or the top of the bunting, because it stops the backing from then moving around from the front.
Okay.
So your holes are going to stay in the right place. I've got my lovely little baby hammer.
Oh, it's very cute.
And I want that hole going all the way through. And I've done that. And I would now come along with my little cotton tip, and I would put dabs of fray stopper on all of those holes. Once we've done that, we can start adding in our lights. Now, these are lights that I purchased from the $2 shop. They were not $2. They were $4.50. And I can't even tell how, they're 3 meters worth of lights. But they're multicolored and they're kind of cute. The ones that I used on the Christmas animals came from Bunting. Oh, sorry, on the Christmas tree came from Bunnings. And have lots of different settings and things like that on them. And they were about $12. Doesn't bother me at all which ones you choose to use. It's really all about you. I just wanted to show you 2 different styles. And look, I mean, you know, eBay's got heaps of these sorts of things as well. But what you do, once you get your lights, and I've unraveled them and I've popped in my my batteries, is you start at the open end. So this is where I've started, and I'm copiously playing with painter's tape because it lets me set everything out before I'm then going to come back and hand stitch.
Oh, okay.
So what I've done, and I'll show you on this one. So now we're up to animal number 3. And I like the idea. And look, these guys are really flexible and, you know, they're used to being wound around different objects. But I like the idea if I end up with a light being on the front side of it, just twining around. And then I have to find where that hole is. And our hole is right here. And you don't want to make too much of a stretch. And all you're going to do is poke that through. Now, can you pass me my tablet? Just to see if anybody's got questions.
Just, wow.
Okay, so now, and I don't know what it is about me, but I then have to go through and test to see whether that looks okay. And you can put 2 in each, which is certainly what I did on the other ones. I've got 2 in this hat. And now I come through. And look, these lights are not hot. So you can come through. And once again, I want to wind them around
Around the join.
The join. And Selena's with us. Hi, Selena. And then my only trouble is working out where all of the ones are on this. Now, that's going to be too hard to get in there, that light. By the time we poke it through, it's just not going to work. So instead, I'm going to come up to the next one, and we're just going to hide that one there in the back.
So do you know how many lights you actually have?
I don't know. I've never really paid attention to that bit. Good question, though.
So do you need to then calculate how many lights you have to make sure you don't run out?
You could, or for the cost of it, you could just buy 2 strings.
Right, true.
Whoops. Okay. Sorry, undoing lights. And that one will go in there. Now see, don't you all feel more festive?
Yeah.
Okay. Oops. And this is why we then tape them down. So this is the 2 that we've worked on. And I have missed one. So I want to pull that one out of there into that corner. And the final one up there. And once you're happy with that and your placement, then come along. And I like to get all of the lights in and in place before I start the hand stitching. So that's when I then come along. But I don't want them to move as I'm moving around the pieces.
No.
So painter's tape is just kind of perfect. And then you're going to come through and, you know, once you're sure that you're happy with all of that, and I love how as you build it up, it just starts looking better and better. So that is my bunting so far. I think that's looking pretty darn cute.
Oh, I think it's gorgeous.
And once again, if you don't want to do the lights in these pieces, you don't have to. I just thought it added something that little bit extra special to it. The other one that you could easily add the lights to would be the Santa train, which I know many of you purchased last year. How good would the lights look on the carriages? And you think about all of this space down here with these carriages. just having, I'm going to have to go this way now, you know, those little lights just to light them up, or I'd be winding them around the poles here, or so I think there's something just cute about doing those for some Christmas things. Okay, any questions? Can I swap over with you again? I'll just scoot you that way. Oops. Okay, so that is it. I'm hoping that you find that something that you could easily incorporate into your own stitching. I was a child of the 80s. I would love to find a way to have those in clothes, but I'm worried they're going to be too hot. So it's not a solution at the present time. But that's kind of us for this year. Naturally, I mean, you know, I'm a huge show pony. You guys know I'm going to be online doing little pop-ups and things like that when the mood and my abilities take me. But for our classes for the year, that's kind of it. I do have ready to show you, and I'll just come in. If things will come up for me. So that is going to be, I've got these ready to go up. I've just got to get all the dates set. Our block of the month or one of our blocks of the month for next year. The other one is going to be the Deco Divas, because people have asked for an applique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one on a Tuesday morning and one on the Thursday evening. But these gals are just gorgeous and so much fun to play with. And I've got lots of other things that I'm hoping to be able to bring to you as well. But I cannot express just how much I've loved you guys being able to join me. And it really has kept me sane. As stupid as it sounds, like I love being able to share, to chat, to all of that sort of stuff. So I really do appreciate that. So please do keep in contact. Send me pictures of all your Christmas stitching. This is the important stuff. We need to share and inspire everybody else who's getting a machine for Christmas.
Yeah, there should be lots of people getting one for Christmas.
Oh, you got to hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, have a wonderful Christmas and a very safe and happy New Year. And I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. Until then, have a stitching day, guys. Bye.